What was it like growing up around your day and age? I believe it was like the 70s.
I was born in the 60s. It was kind of an interesting time, actually. During the 60s, you had Vietnam War. I was a little kid, but I was seeing it on TV. It's like what they call the first war that was ever brought to your living room on a daily basis. And, the hippies and the music. I mean, it was just, in the 70s, I became a teenager. Mm-hmm. And what was it like? I kind of look at just my own life and what has transpired in my life. Like, there was no microwaves back when I was a little kid.
How did that work?
Well, you didn't have a microwave.
Was it just ovens or?
Just ovens and the stovetop.
Oh.
And then also like color TV. I can remember having black and white TVs. Things we take for granted. I remember we didn't have cable TV when I was a kid. We only had 4 stations. So just to see, and then of course, just in your time, like cell phones. That's kind of new. I mean, I in my time, it seems like I've been able to see a lot of things. Like man landed on the moon when I was like 6 years old.
Oh, 6? It was before your time, maybe.
No, that was my time.
Compared to like now, how do you feel like if you like consider looking back like to like you said like there's a bunch of differences from now, like looking back to like basically 2026 at this point. How do you compare to that?
Well, I don't know what to compare it with other than just the onslaught of social media more than anything. It's just information is just you had to wait for the news from 5:30 to 6 is when you got the news. Mm-hmm. Now you get it everywhere, like on your Facebook and your Twitter and your Twitter and whatever else you got up there.
Was it more newspapers or like yes. Or like TV? I didn't know if like
yeah, actually, good point. It was mostly newspapers. I mean.
You barely see those anywhere. Yeah,
you don't. They're still there.
Maybe at the grocery store.
Yeah, I remember being a kid. That paper route. We used to deliver papers to stuff. Yeah.
But like, was there anything growing up that kind of like influenced you to be like the person you are today?
That's painting with broad strokes. So how can we narrow that down?
What do you mean by that?
Well, what influenced me then? I guess it depends on what part of life that I enjoy the most. Like, I guess influenced me for what? I mean, I like music, as you know.
Like, when I think of that, I'm thinking, like, what turned you, like, the person you are today, like, what kind of turned you into that guy? Like, the way you act and, like, the way you, like, perceive things.
My stepdad, my dad, he influenced most of everything that I think of. I mean, anytime I think of doing something, I think, what would he do? What would he say?
Do you still go that way?
Oh, yeah.
We'll go into that a little more. Like, how do you mean by that?
A lot of it is, like, how would I be a parent? I've got 3 kids, and it's just whatever choices I make. I mean, it's kind of hard to think of anything off the top of my head, but I just think of the things that he taught me, and influenced by my mom as well, and being a parent, being a dad was the most important thing to me. I love being a dad, still do, even though my kids are grown up.
Not to like downplay, but why was that like the most important thing for you?
That's a loaded question. I guess it's just that for certain reasons I wanted to make sure I was and I'm going to kind of leave it at that. I just want to make sure I was a good dad.
Yeah.
So,
like, I can cut out if there's something like in that that you want to.
No, we're good. I'll answer your questions the best that I can. But I enjoy being a dad.
Yeah. I was gonna like try to find this. It kind of was gonna work away a little later, but I think it's a good place to ask this now. Like, what was like growing up? Because for anyone actually who follows the show, and like you saw it at Grandy's party. We kind of talked about her side, but like. I want to know, like, what was that like growing up with Mom, Uncle Ricky, Grandy?
Well, I mean, you never know what it is when you're doing it. Like, even you probably won't even think back on it until years from now what it meant to be this age. I mean, we all kind of take for granted what age we are when we're young.
I'll be real. My memory my memory for me, I have little glimpses here and there, but like my memory cuts out before 6th grade. Honestly, I don't remember anything before that. Really, like majority.
One thing's kind of good. I do have a pretty good memory. Yeah. But, again, just looking back, everybody's when they were a kid, things are different. Like, you always hear this all the time, and you see these memes as far as, like, being a kid. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was a kid, neighbors, you could turn on their hose on their house and drink from it. You don't do that now.
Not anymore, at least.
No, it's probably been a long time. When you were a kid, you went outside. You didn't have video games.
There was no Pong or anything like that?
Well, there's Pong, but, it's like now with video games, and to this day, I'll sit there and I'll play for hours, but Pong, after about 20 minutes, it's like, okay. What else is there? Because
then you had, like, the Atari and stuff. Like, at least I was in your decade.
I had an Atari, kind of. I remember my mom got me for Christmas this Pong game, but it wasn't one that you hooked up to the TV. It was an all self-contained thing that had little lights in it that went back and forth and you bat them around. It's kind of hard to explain, but it looked like a TV. I also remember you started seeing the bigger video games like Pac-Man and Asteroids. That was a big one.
Like back at the actual in-person places.
Yeah, you didn't play it at home. You had to go to like an arcade and play it at the arcade.
A little birdie told me you got nominated for Homecoming Queen.
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, just had some fun, some friends. I got nominated for Homecoming Queen, class of '81, and that was 1980. I got nominated to be Homecoming Queen, and we had a new principal. My name Rusty. He thought it was a girl when he announced it, and then after he announced it, he couldn't backtrack it. But a couple days later, he pulled me in the office and said, "No, we're not going to let you run for Homecoming."
Is it just like a thing your friends maybe just kind of like they put you up to it, or
yeah, yeah. And it was interesting because I remember one of the other girls who was nominated. She sat behind me in a class, and when I sat down, like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she, if looks could kill, her eyes would have slayed me within a second, because she was also nominated, and she was not happy because she knew what would happen. I'd win, and
you're like popular, or
I don't know. I would have won as a joke. Now, people would just say, "Hey, it's funny. Let's vote for a guy for Homecoming." That's pretty much how that. I mean, think about it. If that happened, a lot of people would vote just to be funny.
Well, yeah, hell, I would do it. I don't do it, but I would do that. But
nobody knows who you're voting for, so hey, this is funny. Let's see if he wins.
There's always just a Google form nowadays. Maybe once in a while I'll do it, but I barely do. But kind of like, I guess like this kind of goes into like, what was the school like? And you're like, obviously there are a whole bunch of TV shows in like 80s and whatnot, like saying like, oh my god, video games, retro, all this stuff like for like school and like that time area. But like you said, you grew up in like the 60s and whatnot. Like I want to know, what was that like for you, like school and like like basically socializing.
In the 60s, I was really young. I was born in December of 62, so by the time 1970 rolled around, I just turned 7. I was like second grade. But, I remember things. I mean, to me, you're a little kid. You're just a little kid. And then, but as I started getting a little older, about like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I mean, things started to, you're growing up. You're learning more. I love the summer. Loved playing baseball, and that's pretty much, as a kid, that's what you did. You went out and played in the street. You made sure no cars were coming, but it's, summer days. You got up in the morning and you didn't come home until dinner.
Yeah. I always loved riding my bike when I was like, at least during COVID, when there was like no cars in the roads and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Loved riding my bike as a kid. At that age, it's hard to kind of contextually put everything that you do. As time, you're just a little kid. Then as you start getting a little older, you start becoming more aware of the world. Like I said, like the Vietnam War was being pumped into our living rooms every night. And, also when I was about 10 years old, the President of the United States resigned. So it's just a matter of little markers that you kind of think what happened. I mean, in my life, there's been a lot happened in my life. Like, man landed on the moon in my lifetime. And, me, I'm 63 years old right now, but 63 years before that, people weren't even flying yet. I think the first flight was the Wright brothers, like December 17th or 18th in 1903. So, to me, it's just a matter of, it's interesting to look at, like in my lifetime, just how compressed everything is and how the advancements we've made.
All the advancements over like 60 years, I believe, something like that. All the advancements, how do you feel about that? Because if let's say your kid self or like your teenage self, you basically just time travel to the future. I mean, in my perspective, that would blow my mind. Even going 6 years in the future from now, I'd be like, either we're doomed or that's going to be really cool.
Well, in some ways it'd be cool. But then again, I mean, I am curious. I mean, I've only got so much time left on this earth, and I wonder what's going to happen afterwards. Yeah. So, but just what I've seen in my lifetime, it kind of blows my mind just from, again, like the internet. I mean, a lot of things have just happened like in the last 30 years, which is also interesting. I mean, just in your lifetime, but in the last 20 years, 18 years, phones are ubiquitous. They're everywhere now. And when you were born, no, not really. You know, some people had them. I had one, a job I had at the time provided one for me, but I didn't really get a cell phone of my own until about 2005. But cell phones, to me, that's one of the biggest, you know, you can't do without it now, where before...
Kind of need one if you want, like, a job or something like, you know.
Yeah, you do have to, you know, one of my favorite words I learned recently is called Luddite, Ludite, where a Luddite is somebody who kind of fears technology.
Yeah, I get that.
I've got a friend I like to call that. He laughs at it. He didn't know what it was. He thought it was bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, I'm kind of a Luddite. You know, you're not, because you're young and you get it, but someday you will be.
Because like I know I'm not gonna say everybody in my generation is like, there's a whole like thing like kids these days are like which they are. I'll admit that we at least know what we're doing. We're hypocritical that way, but I feel like kids like in 30 years when they're like teenagers, 20-year-olds, I feel like with them being just on their iPads like 24/7 by their parents, they're just basically babysitting them with their iPads. I feel like they're kind of be screwed, honestly. Like in some ways, I guess not everybody, but you get where I'm going with this.
You know, it kind of goes back to me being a dad. I love being a dad and engaging my kids to do things. Sometimes we sit around and watch TV, but we always like to do stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I always like to keep my kids entertained, and I just enjoyed being with them and doing stuff. You know, some of the things we used to do. You used to do them too with us. You know, I just loved hanging out with my kids.
I had this thing where I can walk around, like if I like my old school, I can in my mind I can walk around like 3D wise, like I know where everything is for the most part, and that's exactly how your old house used to be. Like I was watching, and I was like, man, I still have that down to the dot. Like I know exactly where everything was from. But I do remember one thing. You got really mad at me one time for going down to the basement, and this is more just an out of question thing. But why'd you get mad at me that one?
Stairs.
Why?
I didn't want you falling down the stairs.
Is that why? Because like I know I one time went down there because I was curious, and you got like pissed at me.
I got mad because I didn't want you to hurt yourself falling down the stairs. I didn't want you. I didn't want you to break your neck.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was just confused after this whole time, but I get that. You were also on the news for not wanting to report to class.
My senior year in high school, the first semester we had an attendance policy which was rather lax, and so they changed it the next semester where they were going to report attendance for every class. Where back then you didn't. You showed up to homeroom, then you were good. You could skip class constantly, and they kind of found that loophole and they closed it. And a bunch of us idiots, you know, we thought it'd be funny. To us it was just fun. We thought it'd be fun to protest the new attendance rules. And the Des Moines Register came out, took a picture, and put it in there. And you know, students protest something. You know, protest attendance rules.
Yeah.
And Channel 5 and Channel 13 came out, and it just ended up being a funny thing where, you know, the principal was out saying anybody who goes on this march is going to be suspended, and the news was there, and we're like, God, what are we doing? You know, we're just a bunch of dumb kids. We think this is funny, and now we got to take it serious because they're taking it serious, and it was ridiculous. You know.
You said you were like probably at least high school, but like what year, like age were you?
I was 17.
You're 17. I was thinking like more 15 or something.
No,
like that.
I was about 18, 17 or 18, because it was my senior year.
So I guess like it's yes and no. It could, but it could be like taken like at least more serious if you were 18.
Yeah, if I would take school more serious now, if I could go back, but I wouldn't change anything. I always figure if I change one thing, I don't have my kids. So there's some things that do I regret? Yeah. But I wouldn't want to change anything because I figure you change one little thing, what they call it, the butterfly effect.
Yeah, like
I don't have my kids.
You pee on a stick, the dinosaurs come back or something like like.
Yeah, that happened. I peed on a stick out back, and this Tyrannosaurus Rex showed up.
Is that why Jerry's out there?
Yes. Yeah, he wanted to say hi.
Got it. But do you think schools have like do you think like schools have evolved, or like actually I just thought of something. Dad, I remember I interviewed Dad like maybe a couple months ago, and he stated like he thought AI was going to take over the world, like Terminator basically. How do you feel about that? I'm just curious, honestly.
I don't think it'll take over the world, at least in my lifetime. To me, I think, again, that's like a Luddite. I'm not afraid of AI. I think it's got a lot of great... I'm not an expert on it by any means, but I don't mind it. It's always kind of fun to think that, someday the machines will rise. But, 100 years ago, they thought we were going to have flying cars. They thought that, we don't have flying cars. So some of the things they think of what the future is going to look like, it doesn't really.
I always love watching those videos of like the kids from like the 1980s saying like, "What's the year 2020 could be?" One of the, which some of them are like spot on. Maybe some of them I kind of think are hijacked a little bit. I don't really have an idea, but you get what I mean. But like the last 18 years, almost 19, like you've been pretty much playing music all that time and probably years. I think you said you taught yourself, but like shifting your childhood, I was wondering like, what point did you get into like creating music and like playing and all that?
Well, I can trace it to... I always loved music, and I've always been a fan of pop music. But when I was in high school, probably my junior year, summer, whatever, a buddy of mine got a guitar. And then another friend had drums, and he brought them over to his house, and the two of them were jamming, and my friend was playing guitar, and the drums were there, and I just sat behind a kit while he was playing, and I could play the drums. And then the only thing is I didn't know what I was doing, and my friend who had the drums, he showed me a couple beats, and, the thing with the drums, I was about 17, I took some drum lessons, but then when I was about 22 or 23, I wanted to write songs. Well, you can't really write a song on a drum. I mean, you can, but it's
kind of hard.
Yeah, so I learned how to play guitar so I could write songs.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, you write your own songs, you play at the pub, I think, a little bit. Yep. How's that evolved over time?
It's been fun. I mean, I've done a lot of things. The one thing I never thought I would be was like a guy playing a guitar and singing in places. I never thought I would do that. My goal was always to be the funny guy, to do comedy. But I started with music first, and then the comedy came, but then comedy was too many moving parts, too many people that you had to include, where this is just something just me with my guitar, and I'll play funny songs, I'll play serious songs, I'll play other people's songs. But I'm basically a ham, and I like to perform.
Yeah, you said you mainly taught yourself. Brandy, she probably didn't pay for them. Like, how did that all go down?
It was all on me. I had to, I bought my first drum kit, I bought all my guitars. It's just, I had the interest, and that's what I wanted to do. Between guitars and drums, I love playing the drums. I mean, that to me, when you're jamming with people and you're behind a kit, you're the one who says how fast we're going and how loud we're going to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, it's kind of a nice control thing.
Were you ever a part of a band?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're a part of, like, you're like the Backdoor Troubadour or something like that? Yeah,
Backdoor Troubadour is my moniker when I play.
It's like your alter ego, kind of.
Yeah, he's kind of a character. The way I see the Backdoor Troubadour is kind of a... When I'm really trying to channel him, he's kind of a dick. I've got him. Yeah. Well, I've got the Backdoor Troubadour kind of based on a certain caricature, which I won't get into.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's just fun to do it.
Were you ever a part of like a band, like multiple people, or do you just play with people?
Oh yeah. Yep, I did. That was about. I played with people all the time. We played parties. Doing in bands. Every now and then I would be asked to fill in, on drums to do something here and there. Played some gigs, but for the most part with me, it wasn't until about 20-some years ago when I started really more into comedy, when I started the comedy troupe, the Patsies. And that was like one of the highlights of things, because we even played in Chicago, we even performed in Chicago, and that was really cool. But that to me was like the start of just trying to really create some kind of a entertainment venue for me, something to do, because I wanted to be in front of people.
Aren't the Patsies like at least several years old, or you just kind of adapted that name?
I came up with that name a long time ago. I just thought it would always be a great name for a comedy troupe, and then when we started it around 2003, 2004.
I swear that's like a comedy group from like years ago, like even before you, I believe. No, you came up with the name?
Yep. A Patsy is somebody who takes the fall for something that they didn't
That's
do.
maybe why because plus some of your shorts are like Charlie Yellen, he did like that school thing. It was he called it the Patsies or something like that. So I didn't.
Patsy, that's something different. It was a school project, and the reason what that is that had to do with Lincoln's assassination. Like really, Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy. They said he was the guy who allegedly shot John F. Kennedy. And he said, "I'm a patsy. I didn't do it. I'm a patsy." And again, but a patsy is just somebody who gets blamed for something and takes the fall for something they put that a cover up.
It was just something in the moment at a time that kind of just sounded funny.
Also had a picture that we did with Lee Harvey Oswald where it's too hard to explain, but it was just a funny picture of of Lee Harvey Oswald with the members of the patsy standing around him at the moment he got shot. Very bad taste.
You stated how it was just your friend. You kind of just messed around and it kind of clicked. But was there anybody in your family that also maybe did, or is that basically just kind of go back to what we discussed?
I can't think of anybody. Now, there's been people in our family who's been performers and things like that. Like my grandfather, he was the guitar player for back at KRNT barn dance back in the 30s. And my grandfather was the guitarist for it, and my grandmother, she was one of the piano players for it, and that's how they met. So there's some music background in there. As far as performing, I remember my brother, he used to do plays in high school, and that kind of turned me on to wanting to do that too.
Yeah.
But, to me, I just like performing. I like show tunes. Music from the 60s and 70s, and even the 80s sometime. I like rock and roll. I like rock. I like jazz. I try to keep an open mind with music.
You like jazz?
What's that?
You like jazz? No, that's no good.
There was time when I went through, 36 years ago, where I would listen to Beethoven and Bach. I remember just walking to classes and being very pretentious. Just saying, look, I'm listening to Beethoven and Bach. But the thing is, I liked it. That stuff, Bach rocks. I'm constantly writing and recording. Going back to the AI thing, that's one thing that kind of makes me wonder, when I record songs, are people thinking I'm using one of those AI things? But no, it's just me and the guys. We're playing the instruments and everything on the music. We're not using AI to write it or play.
Why would they think it's AI?
Well, because it's out there. I think it's like Sora or something like that. There's these.
Well, yeah, but why would they not believe it's just you play?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too paranoid.
Yeah, I think you're just being too paranoid. I get what you mean, but I don't think anyone's gonna really.
Nobody's gonna care. Hey, Faye, nobody cares. But anyway, I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about you're paranoid about AI or something like that.
I just don't want it's a pride thing anymore. Anything when you're playing the instruments, and I'm not a great musician. I'm really not, but it's kind of. It's a moment of pride when I can record these songs and I'm playing multiple instruments on them, and I write them. And I'd be lost without my friends helping me because they're musicians. They're much better than I am. So I believe I'm sitting on the shoulders of other people.
I don't know why, but I just love the way it floats. First, I shouldn't, but I love the way it floats. The vape,
Oh, and then disappears.
Yeah,
it goes away.
Like life.
Excuse me, just little clouds. Don't want to smoke cigarettes.
Did that again. Wait.
I burped. That was a burp.
Anyways.
that fart came from my mouth. Anyway.
Anyways. This is going to be a fun edit. For anyone on Facebook or online who does follow you, you make comedy videos. I was really watching your videos, and I was just wanting to update myself because it's been a while, and I was thinking some of your shorts, such as Russ and Ross at the ball game, and The Longest Yard, they're mainly built on at least those for a good example are built on comedy. What era you think came from?
Ross and Rusty was from a radio show I did a couple years, local sports thing, and it was a sports call-in show, but we were pretty irreverent. We used to do little sketches and skits at the ball game, those type of things, and we'd put them on our program. But that was good 16 years ago or so. 15 years ago, maybe.
And what a great day for a baseball game.
Sure is. And what do you think of these seats?
Oh, great. You're right on top of the action.
I told you they were great. You can practically smell the fresh-cut grass.
Now, way to go, bro. Hey, give me a high five.
Hey, you want a frosty one?
Sure.
Hey, buddy, toss me a couple cold ones.
Coming up. Just let me pour them in these cups.
Forget the cups. Just toss the bottles. They're plastic.
You're the boss. Here you go. Ow! Oh, man, it got me in the ear.
Quit being a baby. You're okay.
I think I'm bleeding.
It's just a little blood. You're okay.
I don't think blood coming out of my ear is a good thing, Ross.
You're fine. Come on, enjoy the game in these fantastic seats.
How come you chose like comedy to like support them?
Why did I choose that?
Like-
Digging ditches? I don't know. Believe me, the comedy didn't support my kids, but it was just a fun thing to do with my kids. And now when we look back and my kids are growing up, it's just one of those things we look back on and say,
Yeah.
this is what we did.
I remember picked up a little bit about like Charlie. He kind of made a shtick about like Sam was basically the forgotten child. And
Yeah.
Charlie was the one who basically he was pissed off all the time, and Michelle just was doing her thing.
Was the ditzy one. The characters that we played in these videos was I was just the world's worst father and making my kids do things they didn't want to do, like these films. And there was one in particular that we did on the set with the Putnams or something like that, where it kind of explained that more and more. But yeah, those are kind of the characters where Sam was he was also known as the face.
Moneymaker.
The Moneymaker. It's the Moneymaker.
Okay, here's the shot. I'm going to put the gas on Charlie, okay? You're going to light him, and then he's going to jump off the roof there. He's going to roll around, and you put him out with a fire extinguisher. And put him out. I don't want a repeat of what happened last time.
How come I always have to be set on fire?
We've already discussed this.
How come Michelle can't be set on fire this time?
Look, we've talked about this. We're going to sneak in the zoo later, and she's going to rustle a tiger.
Why do I always have to be the one on fire?
Do you want to be in this movie or not?
No.
Hey, Dad! You can set me on fire.
All I want is his love.
This is talent agent, and he's auditioning a new act. So the talent agent asked the dad, "What is the name of your act?" And the dad said, "The Aristocrats."
Those were the characters they played. And the thing, they were nothing like the characters they played in these, which I thought was kind of interesting. Michelle isn't that ditzy, and Charlie's one of the most, affable, nicest guys you're ever going to meet. And Sam, he doesn't have to worry about the love of his father. He knows it's there. And I don't think I'm as bad as I was portraying myself in those shorts, but that was kind of the fun we had with kind of developing these characters and kind of a heightened characterization of ourselves. The characterizations that we, how we normally did it, like there were some, we weren't always those characters in every one, but some of them we were, and it's just one of those things that kind of evolved. It was organic. It's not like, okay, I'm going to be a dickhead. Just, you do the first one, and then you play it that way, and then you find where you just kind of, we're going to use that same concept in a different situation, where again, Dad's just a jerk, and, but it just evolved.
They just kind of played along, basically.
Yeah. There's another video I've got. I can't put it on YouTube because of the music. They took it down.
What was it?
It's called Tagged. That one was, I thought, one of my favorites. I'd love to go back and re-edit it and take about 2 minutes out of it. But it was fun to make those. It's just but Tagged was a fun one.
What was it about, if I can ask?
It starts out where, I've got the kids, where basically it becomes like a chase scene where Charlie ends up chasing Sam all over town, and Michelle's kind of there too. I don't want to, because everybody wants to watch it, because I think the ending is
I believe I did see, somewhere. I don't remember where, but
I just thought the ending was really sweet on that one, so that's all.
Do you think that goes to your songwriting as well? You got hit by a bus?
Oh, that one, Hit by a Bus, is one where Charlie challenged me to write a song that sounded really happy and everything, but had a real disturbing thing to it, so I came up with Hit by a Bus. And it's such a happy sounding song.
Have you ever thought about publishing these songs to Spotify or YouTube or something like that?
That is something I would like to do, honestly.
Maybe it's just childhood, but you'd be I always thought that was kind of just stuck in my head, the idea. Sorry, I'm really stuffed up for some reason, but I always thought that song just kind of, I got hit by a bus,
by a bus. It's a hook. I'd like to write hooks. Things that make you, things like earworms that just stick in your head after a while.
Like commercial,
Yeah, you write a good hook and, It's easy for you to say. I know that one.
Yeah, I love that one.
That's one of my favorites. That song.
Yeah, but was there like a point where like making films was like one of that, like what, or like at least what was your first one?
The first that I made with the kids, or
yes, or like in general, have you made shorts outside of that?
Oh yeah, I mean for the Patsies we did shorts. We did a lot of film stuff with the Patsies, you know, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we just did stuff like that, and
excuse me.
But outside of that, nah, you know, you gotta have a reason to do something, and
yeah,
and either we were making stuff because we had a show that we were putting together, or with the kids, I just wanted to do it. Just it was something to do.
Did you ever have to like bribe them, like convince them or something, or?
Oh yeah, I know. Sometimes Sam wasn't always hip on doing it. One time he just kind of quit. We were about 3/4 done with one. And he just quit. He didn't want to do it anymore. But we had to kind of get creative in how we shot the end of it because he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh,
so.
Like I'm not gonna ask what the plot was because obviously they wouldn't watch it themselves. But which one was it?
Trick or Treat.
Okay, I remember. I saw like the one where like it's basically they're getting shot.
Well, it's one where kids showing up and one of them. Charlie and Sam, and Charlie's like Lincoln, and Sam is John Wilkes Booth, and then there's another one too. I can't remember what. God, I can't remember. But anyway, Sam didn't want to do it. Oh, and it was Kennedy. Kennedy was the other one. Black Ruby. So I had to shoot Charlie playing both parts separately.
I thought that was I thought that was a kind of fun.
I thought it was funny.
That it was like at a live stage thing or something like that.
Well, that was something completely different that the kids did.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who had I was in the comedy troupe with, he had another comedy troupe, and he wrote this one and needed kids. But it was also called Trick or Treat, but completely different concept.
And I mean, that's nice, but like, I love the way the woman was just such an asshole.
That was Dono wrote that. John Donovan wrote that, and for his group Banana Punch, and he had my kids in it. Yeah. But yeah, that was what's funny, because I remember the line from that Dono said, you know, like something like this didn't really come across on your webpage or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
Wait, I got another one.
Oh, the shotgun approach. You're just gonna keep telling us jokes and catch us in the weak moment.
Why did the skeleton cross the road? To slip his girlfriend the bone.
It wasn't too bad. It was the same stupid wordplay we had used before, only now the kid's working blue. Get out of here. Don't tell your parents they're failures. Jeez, the kids is just my son.
Do you want to do this more professionally or just like for fun, basically?
Oh, there was always that hope that we could make something out of it. But it was hard. It's hard. It's hard to get people to show up.
Your big break.
Yeah. We went to Chicago, and plus, you know, when you're dealing with personalities, especially by this time, we had about 8 or 9 people in the group, and it wasn't sustainable, unfortunately. Yeah. But we had fun. I mean, for a couple of years there, we were busy and we were doing a lot of shows. We weren't making any money.
Yeah.
But you know, we're getting our faces in the paper and getting a little notoriety. Yeah. And again, we got picked to play in Chicago.
I'm not trying to like downplay your life, but considering that, and like now you're just playing at the bar a couple of times, maybe a month. Like, how do you view that?
Well, before COVID, I was playing all the time. Since COVID, I'm not. But now I'm getting a little bit too old to haul equipment around all the time. So I don't mind that I'm not playing in a bar twice a month like I used to. Now just a couple times a year. But for the comedy thing, you know, I've actually talked to one of the guys, Dave, who's the troupe with, and
Dave's not here.
Dave's not here. Good one. He's not. But we've thought about trying to see if we can do another kind of reunion type show or something like that.
From what I could tell, like, yeah, you seem like at least decent for like people like in their 60s, 70s, like as it's around that age, you're old and frail and you're about to go to the dust. So, do you have any plans, or like do you see yourself in like 5 or 10 years?
Well, when you put it like that, no. I don't know. I'm looking forward to retiring here in a couple years and just. You know, it's interesting as you get older. I still don't think of myself as 63. I think of myself 18, 19, 20 years old. It's one of those things where you'll always think, I wish I knew then what I knew now. Yeah. But that's part of growing up. That's part of, you know, maturing. And
sort of how Granny kind of sees herself as like a young person in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It really doesn't matter how old you are. You are who you are, and
yeah, still doesn't click. Like, I mean, like I know I'm 18, but I still haven't clicked that. Like I'm 18. Yeah,
yeah. I'm 63, and it's like, wow. Because I can still remember being 5 years old, like it was yesterday. I remember my first day of kindergarten, like it just happened.
Last question. Charlie mentioned you got hit in the groin a couple of years back before having kids with a 10-pound bag of nails.
Oh, okay.
How did you end up having 3 kids?
That story...
That's my main question.
That was one where it was me and a couple guys from high school. One was Dave Higgins, and the other one was Chuck Wheeler. Chuck's good about this, but we were doing a play at Roosevelt, and we went to the store to get some nails to help build a set, and his 10-pound bag of nails, and I'm in the back seat of the car. Chuck is driving, or Dave, one of them is driving, I can't remember which one, but Chuck turns around with his bag of nails, and he goes, here, and he throws them right on my nuts. Hurt a lot, and I told him I'd get him back someday. So it was about 4 years later, I see him in a bar, he's with a date, and we're sitting there talking, and out of nowhere, I cold-cocked him in the balls. I punched him in the nuts.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he deserved it, obviously, but like, Jesus.
Because he threw a 10-pound bag, and because he hurt me, and I got him back in front of his date too. But I will tell you this: after I hit him, Chuck just sat there and he goes, "I had that coming." And it's kind of funny now because Chuck was in one of our movies too, the one where on the set where.
Oh, is he the one who punched you?
Yes, that's Chuck, and a good friend of mine. But he, anyway, it was just. What was I trying to say here? What he did is I had that coming, and to this day he wears that as a badge of honor. Like he took it like a man because when he got decked in the balls, decked the balls.
Thank you all for checking this out, watching and listening. If I forgot any about you Spotify listeners, love you. But yeah, thank you guys for checking this out and coming back 2 weeks later, or actually I think it's 3 weeks technically now.